Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where Britain keeps naval invading us and it's very obnoxious. But we do have these 4 infantry divisions and we need to find a home for them. They are going to go up into this army. So that looks good for now and we'll see where they end up going. I want to check in here. Yeah, we're still holding out over here for now. And that's absolutely fine. We're pushing in along this front. I want to check in on supplies over here, but to be honest, yeah, this is what we need, is to get this supply hub over here set up. So this is not actually linked into our supply network. Let's go ahead and do that. That'll be fine, and then we just need to continue to push through on this side. Now, we've got this happening. We've got troops on the way over, but they are distant at this moment. It's going to take them time to get up there, and that's understood. We've got troops down here working on this. Britain naval invades us everywhere, and that's to be expected. So at this moment, we can see Britain's got a lot of manpower. They're up to 2 to 3 million manpower, and that's expected. We're just slowly pushing our way through this right now. And we see Britain's taking some stack wipes out over here. Now, we're also making significant gains out over here in Asia. And that's huge. Actually, it looks like we have an encirclement up over here. Let's go ahead and get that handled. Hopefully that'll get stack wiped nice and quick. So we've got an encirclement going on there. That looks good. In the meantime, we're just continuing to push in over this direction. And we're looking to get Ming to capitulate. That is our current primary goal. They're 76% of the way there, and we just need them to continue. So down over here, this naval invasion almost handled. There we go. And now these guys are returning to this front, and that looks good. So we've got some forces out over here. Oh, these guys are in a terrible position. Let's build a naval base here just in case, but we need these guys to start coming in over here and try to link this up. Okay, so over this direction, we need to be attacking over here and trying to push this back a bit. There we go. And it'll take time for our forces over here to get in position. Similarly, it'll take time for these guys to get in position. And it's going to take quite a lot of time, unfortunately. I don't know where this guy's going, but sure. Okay, so for now, that's all relatively under control. The tanks are going to roll back up over here, and that's understood. So where are these naval invasions? These are all absolutely understood. Okay, no problem there. So back over here in Mingland, right, we need to get some of these areas a bit more under control. I'm going to put an offensive line here for this army group, or rather for this army, and their goal is to just push in through here. So we'll get that going, and we're just trying to push and get Ming to give up. That is our current goal. So out over here, we see that this encirclement is almost complete. That looks good. Almost there. And there we go. That encirclement is done. So that's fantastic. And up over this direction, this is a little awkward here. Let's go ahead and attack here, because this guy doesn't actually have any supplies. So we've encircled him and he's stack wiped. So that's perfect. Up this direction, there's still awkwardness, but our forces are beginning to arrive over here. So that looks good. Our tanks over this way, they're supply-wise stretched a little bit thin. So we might want to consider construction of a supply hub somewhere around here. I don't necessarily expect that to be finished anytime soon, but we can get that going for now. Okay, so that seems fine. As far as the Iberian incursion goes, now that we have our tanks here again, we know that we were making some slow progress over in this area, so we'll just continue to let that go for the time being. As far as this goes over here, I want to link back up over on this side, and we clearly need more forces in this army. This is at 12 out of 24. So I kind of want to... Yeah, these are very close to being finished in their training. I'm going to early deploy these, and they are going to get assigned up over here. So that'll help this out significantly. Okay, so that looks relatively fine for now, anyway. We really need to get Ming knocked out of this war, and we are making some amount of progress in that. So if we check on that right now, we can see that Ming is now still 76% towards capitulation. We need to get down over here to get their new capital, and that's understood. Up this direction, are we making progress? Actually, look at this. This is an encirclement of quite a lot of forces. Let's go ahead and get them out of here. So they're now retreating, and I want these guys to head up over here as soon as they're done with their current movement. There we go. And then these are going to stack wipe right up over here, and that will free up these forces to be on this line, which is the goal. Now, supplies out over here are tough. Supplies are very thin out this way. And to that end, I want to put up a supply hub about here, and I'm also thinking about one about here. And we can start to run some slightly higher levels of rail out over this direction, connecting these together and connecting that up like this. This can be connected in about like that or so, and then upgrading that like that. So that will help out our supplies in this region, but we're still probably going to need more. I'm going to start building a hub here, or rather a hub. There we go. A supply hub here and a supply hub about here. So we'll get that linked in about like this, and then about like, if I can select the actual province here. There we go. And then bring that up over here. Bring that up over here. Good enough. That'll do. Okay, so that'll help out our supplies in that region. I want to check over here. We can definitely consider motorizing this hub. That's going to be useful, and motorizing this hub will be useful as well. Let's get this upgraded to a level 5, and let's get some of this over here potentially upgrade. That actually looks good as it is. This hub over here could be upgraded to level 5 and connected in up over this way, as well as over here, like that. And then we can make this guy be motorized. There we go. Anything else along this front that needs work? Well, actually, yeah. We've got this guy that can be motorized, and we can get that connected to our level 5 network. Down over here, we just captured this area, so there's not a lot that we can do over here. We can upgrade that to a level 5 connection, and then get that motorized. And then once this is actually connected in, that can be motorized as well. Okay, so that should help our supply situation along the entire Ming front, in theory. And are we moving in here? Yes, we are. We might overrun this. There we go. Beautiful. Overrun. That's what we want to see. And apparently these guys are going down over here. Okay, that's fine. As long as they're going to the front, that's what matters. So I want to check in up over this way. We apparently encircled this unit, and let's make sure that it's out of here. So that seems okay. We look like we're pushing this back, and that's exactly the kind of thing that we want to see. So now over this direction, have we managed to get these guys supplied yet? Well, no, we have not. And that's going to continue to be a problem for a little bit here. I want to have these guys come in and attack here. Not both of them. Only one. Okay, so we'll let that go for the time being, and that's understood. I was hoping that this other force would arrive slightly faster. They didn't, but that's okay. So we do have these armored divisions here. Now, this here is all infantry, and this one isn't. This is tanks. We can definitely have these guys go in here, and that'll be fine. So off they go to the front, and that looks good. So for now, how are we doing on Ming? Well, Ming is currently 79% towards capitulation. So we are definitely progressing on the Ming front. That's great. We're continuing to push into Manchuria at this moment, and that looks great. Our main focus remains pushing into Ming. Absolutely. Why do we only have 2 divisions assigned to this? There we go. Let's get all of our divisions over here assigned to this. Similarly, I want all of our divisions that are on this assigned to this. There we go. Otherwise, everybody's going to be down here on this main attack down this way, and we're certainly making serious progress down this direction. So that looks good. We're progressing in the south. I really want to be progressing in the north, though, and now we are. So we're making good progress over here now that all of our tanks are actually ordered to attack. So that looks good. Progress is proceeding quickly, actually. So we're almost certainly going to see Ming capitulating very, very shortly here. That looks great. I want to check in on the status of these naval invasions. So out over this direction, we're still holding off this area. It's going to be difficult for them to attack into those. And that's fine. We'll just continue to hold that. We are pushing this direction slowly, but we are pushing. I want to grab these tank units, this entire tank army, and I want to tell them to aggressively attack right now. I want to keep pushing, and I want to shorten this front line. So we're going to do that. We're still pushing in over here with our infantry division or our infantry army that's not particularly strong. So they haven't really reinforced this yet, but we need to continue to push that in. Down this direction, this is pretty status quo. So that's not necessarily ideal. We've been pushed out of this area, looks like, and we just have them contained at this moment. So I want these guys to be working on an offensive line that goes to about here. And then I want these guys working on an offensive line that goes to about here. Either way, I want to cut off some of these naval bases, and we'll start to push through here, and we'll see what we can get done over on that side. But the real focus remains on getting Ming taken over. And honestly, that's going extremely well. Extraordinarily well up over here in the north now. So I'm very pleased to see how this is going. And let's see here. Ming is 78% towards capitulation. Apparently that's gone down. I have questions. Why has that gone down? That's very strange. But okay. So we're going to continue to pressure out over this way. I want to check casualties. So 7.27 versus 32. That's pretty ridiculous, to be honest. That is pretty ridiculous. So we're going to continue to push through Ming out over on this side, and we're going to get some victory points up over this direction, which would be absolutely fantastic for us to get. We're just going to continue to push through here and get control of all of this area. Now, if we check in on our manpower, we can see we're currently getting about 100k per month, and that's noted. There's a naval invasion in Sumatra. I'm not going to do anything about this. We will let that be for the time being. I'm not concerned about that. I'm only concerned about naval invasions on the mainland at this time. So that's absolutely fine, and we're just continuing to push in over this direction. We should definitely motorize the supply out over here. So we'll get that motorized, and that will help out our troops over in these areas quite a lot. So that looks good. We're continuing to push in Scandinavia as well, so no problem there. Manchuria, we're kind of not making a huge amount of progress on, and that's understood. I do want to get... Oh, look at this. There's a pocket up over here, and that's beautiful. If we can attack here and take over this location, then they can't use Shandong for anything, and they're just going to be stack wiped up over here. So that is absolutely wonderful. Checking in on Ming now, they are at 79 again. Okay. We're not making as much progress as I would like to be making, to be honest, but it's okay. So I want to check in up over this direction again. We are making some slight pushing progress over here. That's noted. And this is continuing to be quite status quo at this moment. So they're starting to break out up over to the north here, and we might not have enough troops to contain this. So one thing we might want to think about doing is, again, well, this is actually 24 units that are supposed to be up here. I'm only seeing 18, or actually 22 being assigned. Where are the other two assigned? Because I see 4, I see 8, that's 12. Then I see 10, that's 22. Where are the other two? I don't know, but there's definitely 24 in this unit. So that's understood. For now, we're just letting this play out, and that's okay. If we can take Stockholm here, that's actually big. And we've apparently ignored the area that's right up over here. I'm going to tell this guy to come up over here, with the goal being to offensive line through here. So his current goal... No, don't... Why are you attack... Stop it. Stop it. Don't attack there. Attack here. Don't be ridiculous. Okay, I want this tank unit to come over here and assist with this for now. So we're going to put 2 tanks on this in total. And this guy's going to come over here. Perfect. So that looks fine for now. Now, Ming. We've almost taken this area. Get in here. Finish this off. We don't want them getting supplies through this. We don't want them getting reinforcements through this. There we go. And we can see they were trying to bring in reinforcements there. That's perfect. So now these guys, they're just going to move straight up through here. I want these guys to push up about like that. Push up like that, please. There we go. So we're going to get that all isolated and dealt with. Perfect. So Ming is now at 80% towards capitulation. That is noted, and we're losing manpower pretty rapidly. That's also noted. But once Ming is dealt with, we should be in a much, much better situation here. We've apparently forgotten that we're supposed to be guarding this area. So I'm just going to leave this tank unit right here. Okay. So at this moment, this is reasonably fine. I'm not too concerned about any of these current situations. I definitely want to see these troops falling, and they will soon. So that's all going to get stack wiped very, very shortly here. Yeah, they're all leaving at this moment. So bye-bye those troops, and we'll get these forces redeployed. So that looks good, and we'll just continue to push in this direction. So now the question becomes, how close is Ming? Still 80% towards capitulation. And there isn't that much more Ming to take. That means we have to push to the south, and we will definitely do that. They've decrypted our ciphers. How are our decryptions going? Okay, we're working on it, but it's going to take time. Noted. So I'm going to go down over here, and I'm going to move. These are on a balanced manner at this moment. I still kind of want a very offensive attack over here. We're working on breaking out over this way, which seems fine. I don't know how these guys got encircled, but they did. But we should have them recovered pretty shortly here. Yeah, now we're okay. They can retreat, in theory. So that seems relatively fine. So now my question is, how many troops does Britain currently have on the field? Specifically Britain. They have 377 divisions. Okay. The US has a lot of divisions, but there's not really a lot that we can do about that right now. There's a naval invasion potentially in the Bay of Bengal. I don't care about that. And there's one in the East China Sea that is completely irrelevant to us. I mean, Korea took Taipei, or Taiwan. That's fine. I think we had Taiwan, but I don't care about that. So for the moment, that's absolutely fine. What isn't fine is our manpower levels. Our manpower levels are dwindling here. And the question is, how long can we keep this up for? Can we keep it up long enough to get Ming out of this war, push them off the mainland, and then establish some sort of a rapid response force to consistently remove their naval invasions? That needs to be our goal as of right now. And that indeed is exactly our goal. So this is a bit of an issue up over here. We still only have 17 divisions here. Where are our others? Why are you here? Why are you not where you're supposed to be? You're supposed to be up here. I'm so confused. There are now 24 divisions assigned up here, but all of these guys are now assigned over this way, and they shouldn't be. We need at least 3 divisions to be here. We need a few divisions here, although I don't think we need 9. I'm going to leave 3 divisions here for now. So I'm going to move 1 of these divisions over to here, and then I'm going to take 2 of these. They're going to come up over here. And then 6 divisions remain here. So I'm going to take 2 of these divisions, and they're going to go up over here. Okay. So we're going to leave something like that. This is going to be 8 divisions down here, and then 16 divisions up over here. Sure. So down this direction, there's not a lot going on. We're still pushing in over here. And why are we attacking here? Can we not? Let's attack up this way and get you linked back up. Or stack wiped. That works too. So they got stack wiped. It was only 1 division. I'm not too concerned about that. So back over this direction in China, we are continuing to press in here. But progress is not as fast as we would like to see. That's for sure. So I want to check in on our current supply situation up over this way. We can definitely motorize this hub. That will be useful. We can motorize these hubs, but that will be less useful. There's not a lot already up here, and that's absolutely fine. So then we can see we're going to start getting into a bunch of supply hubs. There's this one here that can be motorized. That looks fine for now. And there's this one down here that can be motorized too. Okay, so that will help matters for us. We're going to continue to press through here. But it is certainly slower than we would like it to be to push through China. And this is mostly Britain's fault. Mostly Britain's fault. So that's understood. Out over here, this is mostly a stalemate. I'm fine with stalemates in a lot of these positions, to be clear. And I think we're making gains over here in Scandinavia. Yeah, we definitely are making gains in Scandinavia. So that looks good. I would like to see more supply, particularly in this area. Of course, that'll require this supply hub to get finished, and we'll see when that happens. But we're certainly making solid gains over this way. So that all looks fine for the moment. I'd like to see more supply out over here as well. We can motorize that hub anyway. And anything up over here that can be done? Not really. These guys are being jerks, but, you know, what are you going to do about that? For right now, it is what it is. Ming needs to fall. That is the takeaway here. Eventually, this will happen. But the question is, will we run out of manpower before then? We were not prepared for this war to break out, but we've done very well thus far. That's for sure. And we are continuing to push in slowly, but we need to push in this area. That's what really needs to happen here. I'd like to see this army start making some actual attacks up over this way. They don't appear to be, so we're going to tell them to offensive line down about like... Sure, this'll do. About like that. And we'll tell them to attack that. I want them attacking out in this area. I want to make sure that our tanks are mostly attacking out this way. So that is going to be like these guys over here. It looks like they are mostly attacking. These up here need to attack. These are attacking. These guys are attacking, but they're kind of small. And then these guys, they've got some work that they need to do. I want them to just push right on up over here. That's good enough. And they can start making this progress. Okay, so we're attacking up over that way. We're attacking much more heavily now. Our tanks just weren't doing as much attacking as they should have been. So we're now attacking again in the north here in particular, and that is seeing us some gains, and that's exactly what we want. So now we can see that Ming is at 83% towards capitulation. Okay. So that's all fine. Southern Iberia has another naval invasion occurring. Noted. So I'm going to pull our tank force that is currently up over here. I'm going to pull them down over this way. And we're just going to start getting them moving this direction because of that. And now what we can do is now that they are on their... Come on. Now that they are on their way, we can have them frontline right over here, with the goal being to offensive line straight through there. And we'll see about getting these guys kicked right on out of here yet again. So we'll get working on that. And up here in Scandinavia, we are making some progress. As far as all of this goes, I would love to get these guys isolated right here. And it looks like that's doable. There we go. So now what we need to do is we need to attack every single one of these opposing units right here. So something about like that. Beautiful. And we need to get them eliminated. So we'll get going on that. That'll take a little bit of time. We're still pushing in the north over here, and we are making progress on that. I see there's only 2 divisions assigned to this order now. Okay, that's exciting. That's because of this break in the lines up here. And I would love to see more gains out over this direction. Yeah, that attack isn't going to go very well. But this is fine. We're making actually very solid progress over here. This is pushing, and I love to see that. So at this moment, if we check in on this, we can see that Ming is now at 84% towards capitulation. I'd like to see it a whole lot further. A whole lot further. Okay. This guy's on cautiously attack. I'm bumping him up to balanced attack. And let's see what the rest of these are. Yeah, I'm bumping this guy up to balanced attack as well. There we go. So that'll go... That'll be a little bit more aggressive, and that's what I want. We need to push, and we need to push harder. So that'll be absolutely wonderful once we get a little bit more pushed in over here. Now, I want to grab this order over here because we need to re-up this order. We need to offensive line, and this offensive line is now going to be just something like that. That's fine. Just come on in. Push in from the north. That's only these 2 divisions. I want everyone else. Okay, so that's these 30 here. And I think that's this order. So I'm going to tell them to forget that order. Their new order is to offensive line about like that. Yes. Get in here. Beautiful. Well, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to... I think we're going to see Ming capitulate next episode. I know I said that I thought we would see them capitulate this episode, but I really think that they're going to capitulate next episode. So we're going to continue to attack these guys that have been sectioned off over here, and we'll get those obliterated. We're still pushing through Sweden. That seems fine for now. And these guys, they need to be attacking over here. Get in here. Eventually. So that will all be taken care of eventually as well. Once Ming is dealt with, then we can turn our fury on this and start to really move our forces around and be in a position to deal with all of these naval invasions, and then we can start taking the fight to Britain. That's going to be the plan. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Spock, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.